Let's talk about the New England Patriots. There's been so much noise centered around this team. Is Bill Belichick on the hot seat? Is he getting exposed without Tom Brady? And what is going on with the Patriots as a whole? Bill Belichick hasn't had much success since Tom Brady departed and went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and national media attention is basically pinning it Brady versus Belichick. Brady deserves more credit, or does Belichick deserve more credit? Brady changed the culture with the Buccaneers while Belichick has struggled without Tom Brady. That's an unfair narrative. Bill Belichick has done a lot of things good with this team since Tom Brady has left. But on the offensive side, there's been a lot of muddy decisions. Bill Belichick plays a huge part of the NFL draft and in free agency. As soon as Tom Brady left, he went out and he signed some big names. And that is something that was uncharacteristic of Bill Belichick. He rarely did that when Tom Brady was on the roster. He went out and he signed 3 highly valued free agents at the time. And Jonnu Smith, the tight end, they didn't know how to use him correctly, and he was a bust with the team. So you traded him to the Atlanta Falcons, and you paid him a lot of money. They signed Hunter Henry, who was more the traditional tight end that is still with the team and gives them good production. And then you also signed the best free agent out of that class for the Patriots in Matthew Judon, who has been a godsend on this defense because he's one of the best pass rushers in all of football. He's been amazing with the Patriots. And their defense, since Tom Brady has left, has been very good. Even though last season their secondary did have a bit of a hiccup situation, they were still a very good defense. And the reason why their defense wasn't highly rated, because their offense was so bad. The first year without Tom Brady, they brought in Cam Newton, and Cam Newton looked decent before he dealt with the pandemic issue. Then things went downhill, and Cam Newton, he wasn't going to be a long-term solution to the quarterback problem anyway. Then the second year, they make the playoffs. They select Mac Jones in the first round, and Mac Jones looked good. Mac Jones was like he could be a very capable, good starter moving forward with this team. He did have some bad things that happened in his rookie season, but Josh McDaniels was still there being the offensive coordinator. They were willing things out. They went to the playoffs, lost against the Buffalo Bills in terrible fashion, but that was okay because you had a rookie quarterback. You make the playoffs. That's a good starting point. Mac Jones' sophomore year, the past season we're just coming from, you hire Matt Patricia to be the offensive coordinator, a guy that is known for being a defensive mind in the NFL, who's been a defensive coordinator with the Patriots in the past. And he was a head coach with the Detroit Lions. He failed there, comes back to the Patriots, and he's competing with Joe Judge, who's going to call offensive plays. Both of the guys are calling plays in the preseason. Ultimately, they went with Matt Patricia, and last season, they took Mac Jones a step back. Mac Jones looked terrible. Now, a lot of it is because of the system that Mac Jones was in, but Mac Jones just didn't look good in general on the field. He dealt with ankle injuries. He was floating inside and outside the pocket when he didn't need to. He was getting himself into sacks, and he just couldn't read the field. Now, a lot of it is because of the system that he was in. I have to say that a big chunk of it is because of the system he was in, and Matt Patricia just did not know what he was doing. And the offensive line was not good. When I speak of those draft picks that Bill Belichick then hit on offensively since 2010 on offense, you're talking about guys like Isaiah Wynn, who was one of the worst starting tackles last season. He was horrible with this team. He was a total liability on the field. And then you also had N'Keal Harry, who didn't work out with this team. You trade him off to the Chicago Bears. You also selected Sonny Michel in the first round. Didn't work out. So Bill Belichick hasn't gotten the offense situated in the draft, and he hasn't gotten it right in free agency. You missed on Jonnu Smith as well, as I mentioned moments before. So you keep missing on offense. This is what's going to happen. And then when you put the offense in the hand of a guy that's known for calling defensive plays, what did you think was going to happen on the field? He made your quote-unquote first-round franchise quarterback, Mac Jones, look like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. That's a drastic drop from what he was doing his rookie season. And Mac Jones looked very capable his rookie season. I was singing his praises. But 14 touchdowns to 11 interceptions last season was terrible. And the run game was still very solid with Ramondre Stevenson and crew, 1,040 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. They were a team that kept games close because their defense was so dominant, but their offense couldn't push the field. So I do think that Bill Belichick, the general manager, when talking about the personnel decision of bringing talent in, he has done more harm than Bill Belichick, the coach, has done good the last couple of years since Tom Brady has left. And the bigger picture of this entire thing is this. It is hard to win games in the NFL now when you don't have a franchise quarterback. regardless of how good Mac Jones looked his rookie season, he didn't look anything close to prime Tom Brady. And Tom Brady masked a lot of problems for those Patriots teams. We have never said that Bill Belichick was a great offensive mind. He's just been a great defensive guy. And he is usually good at building things together. When they have weaknesses here and there, he's good at plugging and playing and adjusting on the fly. So when he had a real offensive coordinator, they made the playoffs. So bringing in Bill O'Brien, hopefully that can get them back into the groove of things and can help develop Mac Jones. Because if Mac Jones cannot be a capable starter with this team, they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to even be close going to the NFL playoffs. For the simple fact this division is so much harder than it was 5 to 10 years ago. Usually the Patriots had the weaker division. You'll just have to worry about a few outlier years. Like you'll deal with a Mark Sanchez Jets team to where they'll get you in the playoffs. It was just weird years like that. But usually Tom Brady was Mr. Consistent. You won 6 Super Bowls since the year 2000. They were a complete dynasty. Now they're starting to wipe off a little bit. The division now has the Buffalo Bills, who has been a thorn in the Patriots' side for the last couple of years. The Miami Dolphins have always been a tough team for the Patriots to beat, even when Tom Brady was there. And usually they beat up on the New York Jets. They beat them twice last season, but they're bringing in Aaron Rodgers. So the division isn't as weak anymore. It's a tougher division. And when I look at their schedule, it's going to be extremely tough. So you're putting a lot of pressure on Bill O'Brien to come in and try to call these right plays. And hopefully he can develop Mac Jones to a new length in his career. And you just try to forget what happened last year. Just chalk it up to being a sophomore slump. But my biggest thing with Bill Belichick was this. When Mac Jones did go down, they brought in Bailey Zappi. And when Mac Jones was able to come back in, they benched him a Monday night game against the Chicago Bears. They put in Bailey Zappi. And the fan base didn't help in Foxborough because they were all happy when Bailey Zappi came in and threw a touchdown pass. So it seemed like Bill Belichick didn't know who he wanted to start at that time. And there's been a whole bunch of rumors. Is he sabotaging Mac Jones? I honestly believe that Bill Belichick thought the talent that he put on the field was the best talent possible for the Patriots to go out there and win games. And they've done some things in free agency. They didn't re-sign Jacoby Myers. And a lot of that is probably what happened in that Raiders game. That was a game that the Patriots had won. The Raiders shouldn't even had a touchdown in that game because Mac Hollins had his foot out of bounds and they called it anyway. Then towards the end of the game, Bill Belichick are telling the players, run the ball out. That's what players said in the press conference. They were saying, hey, Coach Belichick told us to run the ball out. Instead, guys had their own envision of what they wanted to do. Jacoby Myers' crew had their own envision of what they wanted to do. They wanted to throw the ball back and lateral it back. And they lateral it back to Mac Jones, and he gets stiffed armed by Chandler Jones, and he goes for a touchdown. They lose the game. That's not on Bill Belichick. That's just on the players going rogue and not listening to their head coach. And that is something that was feared upon in the Patriots locker rooms. If players used to get cut for just fumbling the ball twice in the game, or you didn't see them anymore, they'll just go to the doghouse. Now players are taking it upon themselves. We have to go out here and make our own play instead of listening to Coach Belichick. That was unheard of even 5 years ago. So it seems like the tides are turning against this Patriots team. I still think that Bill Belichick is a very good defensive mind. He's a very great football mind. They're just struggling right now with bringing in personnel on the offensive end. And he's also brought in some good names as well. Cole Strange was a very good offensive lineman for them last year. Hunter Henry was a very good piece for them at the tight end position. I like Tyquan Thornton. I think that he's going to be a very good wide receiver with this team, especially in this system. With Bill O'Brien, he can stretch the field. Dealt with injuries last season to the collarbone, but when he was on the field, he has a scream speed. He can help out Mac Jones. That's what Mac Jones had at Alabama, was a bunch of speed wide receivers. Tyquan Thornton fixed that mold. Kendrick Bourne may see the field more. He was very good his first season with the Patriots. Get him more into the lineup. Juju Smith-Schuster is a good wide receiver. He's not a number one. Even though last season he had 933 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, he was still not the number one option for the Chiefs. It was Travis Kelce, and he benefited a lot from being in a great system alongside Patrick Mahomes and crew. It depends on how you use Juju Smith-Schuster, but he is best as a number 2. And you also re-signed Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker is a good wide receiver in my opinion. Can't stay healthy, and he ranked dead last in pure separation amongst all wide receivers. But he can also go up there and snag the ball and get some contested catches as well. So we'll see how that works out with this team. So their offense is a huge question mark. Nobody is questioning their defense because of how good it is with Matthew Judon. And you're bringing in and revamping your secondary with bringing in Christian Gonzalez, who I believe will be an all-pro corner with this team out of Oregon. He's the type of corner that Bill Belichick loves, playing alongside Jonathan Jones, because you let J.C. Jackson go. You let him go to the Chargers, and he looks like a complete bust for that team already. And you have names like Kyle Duggar, who's a very good strong safety, and Jawan Bentley, who's good at linebacking position, and Mac Wilson as well. So their defense is going to be solid with Josh Uche. Him and Matthew Judon, both of those guys can go out there and get you sacks. But the biggest thing with this Patriots team is, can they contend in this brand new revamped division? I don't know. They're definitely the weaker team on paper than all of the teams in their division. I think that's going to come down to injuries. Can Tua Tagovailoa stay healthy with the Dolphins? How will Aaron Rodgers look with a brand new Jets team? We have to question that as well. Will the chemistry be there from day one with that team? And also the Bills. They're the buzzsaw team in this division. So let me know in the comment section below. Is Bill Belichick and the Patriots, are they getting exposed right now without Tom Brady being there? And are dark days ahead for this team? And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, we want each and every lesson, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.